Good morning, Venters. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday's video, but I thought yesterday's video was really cool where I had a bunch of colors behind me. Very, very awesome. Guys, I saw something that looked really scary. Obviously, you guys know about what's happening in America with regards to these storms that came and just had a lot of devastation in the Carolinas and stuff. But what I saw yesterday that was scarier than that, and that stuff was scary, but they were showing some of these missiles that came in from Iran into Israel. And there's one particular video, because usually when they show these missiles, it looks like a bunch of falling stars in the sky, right? And they show other missiles from the Iron Dome and stuff going up and intercepting them. And usually that's what you see. But this particular video they showed 2 or 3 missiles. And apparently these missiles are the size of a bus. And these missiles came down so much faster than I'm used to seeing things. And I don't know if these are those hypersonic Russian missiles or what. But these things came down so fast. And I'm talking instantly like that. They went from the middle of the sky to the ground. It was creepy. If you guys saw that, let me know. And then here was the creepiest part. They showed what looked like, oh my God, a giant hole in the ground. And this hole in the ground looked unreal. It looked like a meteor had hit the ground. And I'm telling you, it looked like it was 2 or 3 stories deep. And I don't know, it looked like it was about 30 or 40 yards around. It just looked like this giant chunk of football field yanked out of the ground. And I thought that was creepy. And on the video I was watching, they were talking to a guy who had lived, I believe, in Maryland, or I forget what state he lived in, but he was now a citizen living in Israel. And he said that he and his family, get this, they were 3 stories underground, underneath a bunch of reinforced concrete. And he said that he could still hear the missiles slapping into, the above lands or whatever was above him. He could hear the missiles. And he described the sound as the loudest thing he had ever heard. And I just thought, holy moly, usually if you're 3 stories underground, under concrete, you're not hearing anything up on the surface. So whatever Iran did with those missiles they sent in, apparently these were some incredible missiles. And even when they were showing the missiles up in the sky, it did look kind of like, think about it, whenever something looks like a bunch of falling stars, that is kind of apocalyptic too. They spoke to a lady in the Carolinas, and the lady said that in Asheville, North Carolina, that it smells so bad, and she attributed the smell to a bunch of bodies, which, think about it, that's got to be a gnarly, horrible situation. And she was describing some of the situations where you would see people and then you'd see them no longer alive. That is a horrible, horrible spot to be in. And then on top of it all, she said, if I was in Tennessee, I would be really upset, because apparently there's some parts in Tennessee that are in real bad shape as well. But apparently the Tennessee National Guard has been sent over to the Middle East. Which is really weird, because whenever I think of the National Guard, I think of somebody that should be in our nation protecting the nation. But apparently, sometimes they have to go out and about to these different, areas of war. But yeah, that would be really disappointing, wouldn't it? If it looked like a nuclear bomb had hit in your city or state, and then your National Guardsmen get called up to leave the country. Yeah, there is something kind of backwards about that, huh? Sounds to me like the alliances that we're in are more important than the people that live in the country. So it seems really, really kind of shitty. Maybe that's a little idea on what war is like, right? War is quite the situation. You've got major league problems in your city and state, and your soldiers get called up to leave the state to go do something on a worldwide level. Yeah, I could see how that would be very, very frustrating for a lot of people. I just can't believe that we're not seeing a bunch of FEMA people in these areas that are destroyed. But again, if you guys saw the destruction that they're showing on some of these videos, I don't know how you get boats in there. Because when Hurricane Katrina hit the people of Louisiana and stuff like that, you were able to see, that boats could get in there and rescue quite a few people that they could find. But man, these areas in the Carolinas and Tennessee and stuff, there's no way you could get a boat in there. And you can't fly planes into these areas because there's probably no place to land and take off. So I don't know how the hell they're going to get this done. But let's pray they get something done quickly, because oh my God, that is horrible. On a nicer note, congratulations all venters. We made it to day 200. Day 200. Yay! Oh my goodness. Guys, can you believe that 200 days ago, I started recording and uploading to a channel called Walk Talk Vent. And all of a sudden we were venters together, going on this journey to walk every single day. That is incredible. I can't believe how fast 200 days goes by. It just goes to show you that if you're willing to change your life and you're willing to embark on just a 90-day journey, before you know it, it's going to be 200 or 300 days later, and you're going to be happy for making the best decision of your life. If you're brand new and you're hearing my voice for the first time, I want you to contemplate something for me. If you can remember last Christmas, that seems like yesterday, doesn't it? Well, going forward, Christmas and New Year's are simply 3 months away. If you start a 90-day journey with me right now, before you know it, it's going to be Christmas/New Year's, and going into 2025, we could have a brand new you. Now, I don't know about you, but when it comes to Christmas gifts, I think the best Christmas gift that you could buy for yourself would be the gift of health. Here's the good news, it's free. And if you walk with us every day, if you try to stay away from sugar, if you eat oatmeal, you're going to end up saving a whole bunch of money. If you go to places like Chick-fil-A and instead of buying those yummy fries and that yummy high C, if you just get water and you just get your sandwich or your chicken nuggets, you're going to start losing weight. And if we combine all these things, our walks together, by trying to avoid those calories at lunch, by eating oatmeal for breakfast, by avoiding sugar, by drinking water, my God, guys, it's the obvious decision to make, even if you don't want to be the only one in the world taking on these different choices and making these different decisions. We're doing it together. It sucks doing things when you think you're the only one. Yeah, I'll give up sugar, but am I going to be the only one on the planet to do it? Because if so, that comes across as a punishment, doesn't it? But it's not a punishment, guys. If we can get rid of the sugar, if we can walk all the time and do it together, you'll know you're never alone, and we'll all end up being that much more healthy. And I'm telling you, I have a feeling it'll be like a contagious disease. I have a feeling that if you and I can lose weight and share this with our family members and friends, I have a feeling pretty soon it'll motivate them to get out here and start walking again. Sometimes when we start anything in our life, whether it's a new job, whether it's moving and trying to meet new people in a new state, or whether it's starting a diet and exercise routine, sometimes the toughest thing is not doing the exercise routine or going through the motions itself. Sometimes the toughest thing is just that first day or two, right? You move to a new state, You know absolutely nobody. All of a sudden you're starting to look for jobs, you're looking for employment. If you played your cards right, you already have a job waiting for you. So you go your first couple days, and now, because you're brand new in a state, these people that you work with are literally going to be amongst your first friends that you have in that particular state. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. Yourself?
Good, good. Thank you. Enjoy your walk. You know, it's funny. I look at LeBeau and I look at that gentleman and I think those are kind of like our guest stars for Walk, Talk, Vent, right? Every now and then they smile and say hello. And that's kind of how this walk has been for us. You know, Mala, you've described it as a soap opera, right? I've had people out here that I've argued with. I have people out here that I say hello to, right? We have people out here that have unique traditions, like LeBeau wearing a red shirt constantly. I still think there's something really odd about that, you know? I've never seen somebody just constantly wearing the same color shirt. But I think didn't we see her one time wearing black or blue, some other color shirt? On another note, I was able to watch a little bit of the vice presidential debate last night. And the one thing that I took away from it more than anything else was just it looks like we've got a couple decent vice presidents from the standpoint of it seems like they're very good at speaking. It seems like they're very good at understanding where other people are coming from. And, you know, a lot of times with vice presidents, they end up becoming the presidential nomination in the upcoming elections and stuff. So I would not be surprised if 4 years from now we have a situation where one, if not both of these candidates are actually running for president. If you guys kind of get that vibe too, let me know. The one thing that's interesting about this, what's his name, Tim Walz, the vice president, Kamala Harris's running mate, he seemed really kind of down to earth, and I enjoyed listening to him talk. And then as far as J.D. Vance was concerned, I thought he sounded kind of down to earth as well. So again, it's nice when you can listen to a debate where you can kind of understand where both people are coming from, and you can kind of hear both sides of the story. And they both seem like level-headed people. So I'm going to look at it as a positive, because you know what? Half of us are going to be in a situation where we're not happy with who becomes president, and half of us are going to be ecstatic about it. At least it sounds like in both cases, the vice presidents are going to be, you know, able to kind of keep everything somewhat normal, you know? As long as you know that out of the people that are running, they have decent vice presidents that are going to probably try to give the president the best advice they can, and they're going to be good running mates, you know, that's probably a decent sign for the country. When you think about what 200 days is, 200 days is awfully close to 7 months. And as weird as this sounds, I'm sure you guys are going to disagree with this, but it's from my point of view. But as weird as this sounds, I still feel like I'm a brand new YouTuber that just started up a couple days ago, you know? And you want to know something? The reality is, I still consider myself to be brand spanking new. But now that I've put up 200 plus videos, I've probably got more uploads than the average human being does, you know? So, you know, who knows? I guess that's the one advantage on if you do something every day, you're just clocking hours at whatever you're doing. You know, they say once you get 5,000, 10,000 hours into something, it might even be 1,000 hours, they say you become an expert at it. Well, I think I'll give myself that moniker of being the expert of walking. Guys, I consider myself to know a lot about walking simply because it's my hobby. I do it all the time. Are there professional Olympic walkers? Yeah, but they're cheating half the time. Have you ever seen a walking competition at the Olympics? Half the time they're whistled and penalized for jogging. So again, I'm not a big fan of jogging, not a big fan of running. You're never going to catch me walking so fast that it's considered a jog. I am a big proponent in enjoy your walk. It doesn't have to be speedy and brisk. You can go as slow as you want. I think the key is just consistency. If you've been walking for 200 days, you're going to have results like me and Sean. You're going to have a situation where your clothes fit loose. Sean, when you lose 23 pounds, I don't care what you do, you need a new wardrobe because those pants are going to feel so loose and baggy, it's going to be crazy. So when you start to lose a lot of weight, you're probably going to have to change up your wardrobe, but don't necessarily throw away those older, bigger clothes, because if they're nice, keep them in the closet just in case something happens and you end up quitting and reverting back to your old body size. Well, Jesse, that sounds kind of defeated. You know, it might sound kind of defeated, but if you lose a lot of weight, change your wardrobe, and then all of a sudden put that weight back on, it's going to make all those clothes you got rid of worthless because you got rid of them. It's going to make all those new clothes you bought worthless because you can no longer fit in them, and you're going to have to go buy another wardrobe. And when we get to the point where our walking and exercise routine actually starts costing us a lot of money, you know, that's where it can be really, really tough. So again, I don't want you to revert back to your old body style, but you know, it probably wouldn't hurt to keep a couple of those clothes in your closet just in case. And Sean, I'm not talking about you because I have a feeling you're going to keep walking, but I'm talking about the average person that's listening. For the first couple days, if you're going to lose a lot of weight, you should prepare to buy some new clothes once you do, but at the same time, don't get rid of those old ones just in case. It feels nice out here in the shade, but in the sun, it feels a little humid. I hope that the temperatures start to drop here pretty quick. It was 113 yesterday, which this late in the year just seems really, really bizarre. I don't remember it ever being that hot. So holy moly. Real quick, let's talk about Kaizen. We're entering week 3. You're no longer walking for 10 minutes. Hopefully you're up to a good 20 to 30 minute a day walk. You're no longer drinking just sodas. Hopefully you're cutting down on your soda and you're drinking water for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hopefully you're also drinking water for your snacks, right? If you're drinking water with your snacks and dinner and your meals, hopefully you're up to a good 6 or 7 bottles of water a day. What that's going to do is put you in a situation where you should never have to worry about being dehydrated. If you drink a lot of water like me, you'll probably notice that most of the time when you take a pee, you'll notice that your urine is clear. I don't know about you guys, but I always feel a little bit cleaner when I'm pissing clear. So again, if that's something that you guys are noticing too, maybe let me know. I'm starting to see some more people that are walking. And by the way, I see this every year when I walk. I see people come out and they try to establish walking routines. But again, you got to take your walking routine extremely serious. And I feel like most people don't. You know, if you want to take a leisurely walk because you're bored one day, that's one thing. But if you make your mind up to start a walking routine, you should really try to schedule it, and you should really try to make it an everyday thing. And when I see people walking out here and I see them for 2, 3, 4 days in a row, and then all of a sudden they disappear off my radar and I never see them again, it's kind of like, wow, you walked for 3 or 4 days in a row and it was a complete waste of time. I don't understand how people can take a walk and not want to do it again. Now, I know you guys can understand because you're like, well, walking's not that fun, Jesse. But again, if you're starting an exercise routine and you're walking, it is so easy. I can understand when people go to the gym and they work out and all of a sudden they feel a little nauseous, or maybe their muscles ache for a week straight. You know, I can understand people quitting that. But I can't really understand people quitting a walking routine because it's just so mellow and so relaxing. God, you want to know another thing? Sometimes it's nice to just be in silence. You know, you don't necessarily have to hear your neighbors talking and cars honking. I know some people live in the city and they might live right by a train, or they might live by a busy intersection. And so they're constantly hearing honking and different, sounds of the city. That would be a little bit depressing to have to sleep in that situation. And it would probably not be the most fun to have to walk where you're constantly worried about, our car is going to hit pedestrians. Those can be kind of tough situations to walk in. But if you're like me and you have a nice, quiet little neighborhood, oh my God, get outside and walk. It's the best. Some of our venters have shared pictures of where they walk in different parts of our country here. And whenever they share pictures, I always find it amazing how beautiful the places that we have to walk in here in the States can be. And where you're listening from right now, you might have one of these very neighborhoods and states that's just absolutely gorgeous. You're really missing out, But I've been watching these videos of parents and children that are estranged from one another. And it's really weird because on the parents' videos where they're like, hey, my son or daughter doesn't want to talk to me, it sounds like in their cases, they have a lot of support. There's a lot of parents that say, hey, I feel you. I'm going through the exact same situation. But then when I go to the videos of the kids that are estranged from those parents, they put up videos of parents talking about this situation, and then they and the rest of the echo chamber just kind of poke fun at the moms and dads that are trying to plead with their kids to be back in their life. And so they have this echo chamber, all these people that aren't friends, but they're supporters, right? And all these supporters are saying, hey, be strong. You don't need parents like that in your life. These parents don't understand and respect what no contact is. Man, if no contact means you literally don't wish your kids happy birthday, Merry Christmas. I mean, they were getting upset because the mom was sending them a text, stating things like, hey, your dad got a really bad case of COVID. Hey, grandpa died. Hey, Merry Christmas, I love you. And the echo chambers were just making fun of the moms and dads reaching out to their estranged kids. And it's like, okay, let's take a look at this. What's the opposite of reaching out and caring? The opposite would be indifference. So it's like a lot of times these kids that aren't in their parents' life, they would rather have this no contact, and why don't my parents, appreciate and respect my no contact rule? And it's like you're trying to equate your parents to your abusive ex-husband or your abusive ex-wife. These are your parents. And it just kind of blows me away because a lot of times parents and kids are estranged. Sometimes it's for really good reasons. Sometimes it's for reasons that the parents don't even fully understand. And so I feel like young people want the older generation to be able to read their minds. And it's horrible. It really is. I think we have a real problem with echo chambers in this world. No matter what you're doing, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it's not uncommon to have a bunch of people cheering you on. And when you're sitting there avoiding your parents, and you have an echo chamber that's sitting there rooting you on, yes, there are people that should legitimately write their parents out of their life because their parents might be completely horrible human beings. I think we can all agree that that probably does happen in real life. But at the same time, I think we can also agree that whatever causes you to stay away from your parents, and it might be validated, I think we can all agree that when you hear other people's reasons for avoiding their parents, sometimes it's for really goofy reasons. The number one goofy reason to avoid your friends and family is if they're voting for somebody that's different than the person you're voting for. And by the way, this mom that they were making fun of and saying all these horrible things about, who they don't know from Adam, right? Her big thing that made it where her daughter didn't want to hang out with her anymore was that I guess she voted for Donald Trump. And so now her daughter wants nothing to do with her, and then you've got this echo chamber of people saying, you go, you don't need parents like that. This lady's delusional. She doesn't understand what no contact means, nor respect her daughter. Well, I'm sorry, but if no contact means that you can't wish somebody a happy birthday, or tell them when their dad has COVID, or when Grandpa Joe is passing away, if that's no contact, then there's something wrong with your echo chamber. There's something wrong with your echo chamber. Remember, you are put on this planet ideally, especially if you're a Christian, to try to forgive. You know, you need to forgive, and if there's one person that you want to try to forgive for whatever you're upset at them about, it should be your mom or your dad, your parents. Or in the opposite case, your son or daughter, because sometimes there's situations where the kids are on drugs and the parents have to go no contact. So there's tough situations, but if your kids ever get off drugs, by all means, bring them back into your life. Sometimes in the morning, there's a lot of good things to talk about. Sometimes there's negative things to talk about. And sometimes your tongue feels so heavy that you can't really talk, period. But the point is, whether it's good or bad, get on your morning walk, try to look at the positive side of life, and we'll see you tomorrow.